Darius Garland is one of my favorite players in the NBA. He's not the biggest guard in the world, he doesn't jump out of the gym, but he's just as electric as he is intelligent in terms of playmaking. It's hard to watch him on offense and not think of elite playmakers from the past like Steve Nash, Chris Paul, and Mark Price. After a rough rookie season where, according to advanced analytics, he was one of the worst, if not the worst player in the NBA that was a starter, Garland has shown nothing but improvement since then, proving that he was more than just his rookie season. He was worth the 5th overall pick, and he became the all-star guard the Cavs hoped he would become when they took him in the top 5. I think people understand that Darius Garland is a great player, but I don't think people understand just how rare of a talent he is. Darius Garland is a true primary playmaker, and those don't grow on trees. It's why I'm super high on Scoot Henderson and Amen Thompson in the upcoming 2023 NBA draft, because having the feel and skill to be a primary playmaker is rare, and players who are capable of doing what Garland does as a primary playmaker are even more rare. Garland is a player that is capable of being responsible for every aspect of an offensive game plan. He can be the scoring threat that changes how defenses defend him, he can be the playmaker that controls the pace and flow of the game, and he's an excellent communicator off the ball. And while he doesn't have to take full responsibility for the offense anymore with Donovan Mitchell on the team, he has shown he is more than capable of taking full responsibility of an offense when Mitchell isn't on the floor. This is why I believe that Garland is the best player on the Cavs, or at the very least the most important player on the Cavs. Garland does an incredible job of reading defenses on dribble handoffs. Garland understands that Goga Bitadze is not going to be able to hold his own on a switch against him. He also understands that Franz understands this fact, and Franz will do everything to stick with Garland on this play and not switch, because Franz is the best defensive option against Darius Garland. He also notices that Goga Bitadze is stepping up, probably to try and defend a shot attempt, which leaves an open space for Evan Mobley with only Jalen Suggs to defend him. He's going to accelerate to get the defense to draw into him, then decelerate and throw the pass to Mobley for an easy finish. Loves using acceleration to draw defenses in on plays like this. He notices Joe Harris roaming and leaving Mobley on an island because he's not a major shooting threat. And he knows that if he can draw Joe Harris into the paint, it will open things up for Mobley as a cutter. He's gonna accelerate here, and then he's gonna throw a perfectly timed lob for Mobley, who's open at the rim. Darius Garland is more than just a passer. His scoring allows him to expand his playmaking range, and that starts with his finishing. I wouldn't say that Garland is an elite finisher at the basket per se. 52.7% in the paint on 5.3 attempts per game this season. It's not like he's Ja Morant or Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in terms of finishing at the basket or being a rim presser threat. But that doesn't mean that he isn't a good one. Just because you're not on the level of the best guards in the league in terms of rim pressure and finishing at the basket doesn't mean you're not good, because Garland is good at finishing. He does a good job of using acceleration and deceleration that throws defenses off and allows him to manipulate defenses. He has good touch around the basket. He has a really good floater. He has really good body control and flexibility that allows him to finish at tough angles. He does a good job of beating defenders to spots. He does a good job of shielding off bigger defenders when attacking the basket. He has an elite handle, quickness, and first step that makes up for a lack of pure strength and vertical explosion. And on top of that, his ability as a passer opens up opportunities for him as a finisher, because defenses are going to worry about his passing ability, which makes it easier. So in a way, with his scoring in general, but definitely with him as a finisher, it allows him to get easier looks for either himself or teammates, no matter the situation. Again, he's not an elite finisher, but he is a good one. At the very least, he's a good enough finisher to have a skill set that you could say complements his real strength as a scorer, which is shot creation. Darius Garland is an elite shot maker and creator. He can play on and off the ball. He's a good shooter on all three levels, 41% on 6 3-point attempts per game, 40.4% on 2.9 mid-range attempts per game, 52.4% on 2.1 non-restricted area paint attempts per game. He's very good at creating space. He uses that same acceleration and deceleration that he uses as a finisher. He's very good at getting to his spots. He's very good on and off balance as a shooter. He doesn't waste movement as a creator. Every move feels like it has a purpose. He has a very quick release that's hard to contest. He's also very comfortable shooting with a hand in his face. He has good footwork in terms of creating without dribbling. He has a tight handle that's hard to bother. I love his step back. It's a combination of pure space creation with sudden movement, space creation, and he's also good off the catch. He moves very well without the basketball. He uses his shot creation to leverage easier looks in terms of finishing attempts and creating for others. He's smooth and shifty. He has great counters. And the best way to describe Garland as a shot creator is that he isn't limited to one specific style. It isn't like he's just a pure space creator that creates as much space as possible, even if it's a part of his game. He also is someone that can use the sudden movements to catch defenders off guard and take advantage of split-second openings. While I believe that Garland's passing is his best skill, I believe his shot making and shot creating is what opens up his playmaking the most, because scoring is a big part of being a lead guard in the modern NBA, and Garland uses his ability as a creator to open up the rest of his game on offense. I know this might sound like a hot take, but I believe Darius Garland is the best player on the Cleveland Cavaliers, and I also believe he's the franchise centerpiece moving forward. I understand that Donovan Mitchell was incredible this past season. I understand he put up crazy scoring numbers. I understand he was All-NBA and maybe should have been All-NBA first team. But I just value what Garland brings to the table that much. Having a player who can handle as much offensive responsibility as Garland can is rare. You don't find these guys often. Guys who can be great scorers, that can create for themselves and play off ball on top of being an elite playmaker. Someone who can legit handle every offensive responsibility for an offense. Someone with the feel for the game and skill to manipulate defenses consistently on top of that. Mitchell will have crazy scoring numbers and be the go-to scorer. Mobley will be the defensive monster with the versatility on offense as he continues to grow. But this offense won't reach the heights it's capable of without Darius Garland. I think Darius Garland is in that tier with Ja Morant and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander as lead guards. I know that's a hot take. I think Garland is one of the 5 to 7 best playmakers in basketball. He can carry an offense if needed, which is rare for a 6'1 guard to do at the level he does. He's not perfect. He's not the best guard in the NBA. I'm not suggesting that. But he's one of the best guards in the NBA and also one of the best players in the NBA overall. I think he's going to make multiple All-NBA teams in his career. I think his combination of feel for the game, skill, scoring ability, and playmaking can make him an MVP caliber guard potentially, like with Steve Nash and Chris Paul in the past. And I think Garland is going to put better scoring numbers than those guys did in their career. Now, I do think that at the same time, he's not going to put up the assist numbers that those guys did, because 10 assists per game, this really isn't a thing. In the NBA, it's closer to like 8, 9, which Garland is at. And I understand that you probably disagree with me on this. I understand I'm higher on Darius Garland than most, but I think Garland is more than just an all-star guard. He's an elite primary playmaker that can handle every responsibility of an offensive possession. That's rare. And a player that can do that is more than just an all-star in my eyes. Garland has proven to be able to do that at 22 years old last season, or 2 seasons ago, depending on how you view it, and this season at 23. He's not even in his prime yet. He's gotten better every season, and there's no reason to believe that improvement won't continue. The way he's progressing, if he continues to improve over the next 2 or 3 years the way he's improved since entering the league, we could be talking about an all-time great point guard in due time. But that's the end of this video. If you made it to this point, thank you so much. Again, haven't already, like, subscribe, hit notification bell, notified whenever I release a video. I'm making videos about basketball all the time, and liking and subscribing are the two best ways you can help me out in the YouTube algorithm. Helps for people find my videos, so in turn helps the channel grow, so I can make more content for you guys in the future. Let's try to get 100 likes on this video so YouTube will recommend it to others. Let me know what you think about Darius Garland in the comment section below, as well as the Cavs in the comment section below. But with that being said, have a nice day, and I'll see you guys in the next one.